What player are you looking at, Dan? Tell me a win condition for this Nova upset to happen.
I was looking at what Shirazi was going to be playing because we've seen her in the double duelist, we've seen her obviously on the Viper that I feel like Esports GC excels at the most.
They've peaked potentially at the right time with a victory recently in EMEA.
No, as we've just seen, this will be the first time we get to see Nova play here on KRÜ. They've decided to pick it though, so let's see what they've got up their sleeve. Up against this comp from G2, agree with what Potter said. I love the double dive that comes in with the Yoru and the Waylay, but it's going to be the Yoru opening things up, and Amy shutting it down. A 4 versus 2 to start things off. Nova get the plant, but they are outnumbered. Let's see if they can at least deliver a couple of early kills to make this doable when G2 go in for the retake. They've got to be ahead of it, and that was damn close, but a 1v3 for Alyssa, 11 HP, the headshot's needed, and she's boxed in.
The aggression, I don't mind it. The idea to try and put that pressure deep in towards the B spawn, but the fact is they ran into Mimi. Yeah, Mimi's gone in early for the sniper on the other side. A quick rotation, but it's a fast-paced take. Nightfall used immediately. It was earned up over the last couple of rounds, and the Thorns are going to really deal some damage. Vanya was the only one connected, but also taken out. The pace working wonders for the side of Nova, and okay, Clam. What a start to the round. Mimi gone, operator on the ground, and it seems like it's not getting any better. Icebox with another, Shirazi to close, and a blitz of pace in towards that A site has given them a second round.
Everything going according to plan, and they've left G2 down to a very weak buy. You said G2 might not need a lot of rounds on the defense. Well, they might not get a lot if Nova keep this up, at least looking to take the lead here.
Early days.
My blind is dead.
This is, of course, a good chance for Shirazi to maybe bring this back. Flash out, though. They're going to go through the utility. And while it's always going to be dangerous, even with those pistols, Amy, again, her job is just to delay. Actually, opts to use the ability to take away the guns. That steel garden, but it won't really help out her teammates too much. They are too far away. A long rotation back through mid and a 3v3.
Yeah, and I think the thing being that Icebox still alive, has that wall to cover off their back, so at this point, Nova know that they don't have to commit any resources to it. They've got Sheer holding off the spawn, which leaves 2 players to hold a very important angle, but the flash is key. It catches as Alyssa goes down, so too does Icebox. And now Sheer from up top, gonna be caught out by the orbital strike. Pushed down below, but survives. A sliver of HP, the regen shield's coming back up, giving a small margin, but 4 bullets left in the rifle. The paranoia goes through, the defuse underway, and they've done it. G2 battling back on the low buy.
Making their way across that initial utility, pot flash out. Amy's the one that's getting ready to take the swing, but Clem wins that first fight, doesn't get much more. Vanya has traded things evenly. But now there is that steel garden. Vanya was already prepared for it though. The pistol in her hand, sat in the corner, but easily taken down without having the rifle.
Yeah, not even the stim beacon can help you out there. Sheer caught, stays up close, looks for the fight, but it's Akita to put her in the ground and double up as well. Shirazi with a chance, but being watched. Timing is everything. The shot lands. And now waiting for that tap, the defuse underway. Akita sticking it at least a half, but now looks for the battle and finds her 3rd of the round. G2.
We'll be looking to see if she can maybe get that little bit of revenge. Of course, for Nova, it's been very different year overall. 11-0 at the moment on the entire year in terms of series. Early pressure though, and while once again the utility just working wonders. The ult setting up Akita. Doesn't even know there's a player in the corner. That's made it interesting. Alyssa's done well. In fact, Alyssa's taken over. Just a small piece missed of that puzzle for G2, and what was looking like a surefire round now turns into a 1v2.
A 1v2, and it's an op that they're up against. Mimi might almost want to swap that weapon out, especially now that they've got to play into the Viper's pit. This round looked destined to be G2's, but Nova, they've challenged fate itself. Now it's Mimi who has to do the dirty work, still with a full belt of utility. A gate crash to fall back to. Even then, that's going to run down the clock quite a bit. I'm looking at the decoy and how it's going to be used, clearing out this pit, being point of contact Alyssa up close is desperately low. There's the flash, there's the decoy, they spray it, easy kill. Mimi isolating the 1v1, but Shirazi staying up close converts the round. A big win for Nova.
Yeah, no, that was... I feel like she closed it out, but that was all about Alyssa. Just staying calm in moments that realistically should have been the end of the round. The fact that she was hit by that convergence path, but just stuck it out until the moment was right. That made the difference. The Odin of Petra, which is waiting up top mid. That's why you're going to see the dimensional drift sent down, but there is nobody around this angle. That is, however, an awful lot of information. In fact, Mimi knows everything.
The Molly's going to delay them, following up on that Nightfall with Akita still in the corner. Stun goes through, but she's got one of her own. Further delay as Nova now have to rely on another burst of utility to get in, but it's supposed to be Sheer in the back lines, only able to grab one, and then it's a desolation from G2 as they hold that site with ease. The lead is back in their hands. They're gearing up for this A push. Again, that pressure being put onto Mimi. But it's only an info peek from Mimi. I don't think she's going to look for too aggressive a fight. Akita, on the other hand, does look for that rotate and is caught by the patience of Icebox. Numbers even, though.
Now, they will make their way towards the side. It's been given up. But mainly that's because of the ultimates that are online. Nightfall available. Orbital Strike, which is almost immediately going to be used. And if they're even clipped by a tick of the Orbital Strike, they're going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Not managing to be caught by it, but it does force them in to Amy instead. Steel Garden utilized, but only 10 seconds left on the clock. They need to get the spike down. It doesn't matter. Vania had dodged it anyway. Now the guns come back, and Icebox needs to clear them all out. It's not going to happen. A lot of ults invested, but the value was worth it for G2.
The fact that Mimi manages to trade it out and keep the control and elbow changes the round. Big mid-fight being set up by G2. You can see a lot of players around that elbow, and Akita looking for info. Overstays her welcome. The refract faded and up against the eco. Nova have got to be happy to be gifted a pick like that and a weapon on the back of it.
I think maybe it was too committed to whatever the initial play was about to be, but had already used the refract and ends up biting her. Amy's going to be the one under pressure here, but does have support from Mimi, and with that Outlaw versus those light shields, it is a one-shot kill.
Nice start from Amy, but one and done. Nova keep that momentum towards this B site. The plant will be coming through. A rifle retrieved yet again. Now the advantage firmly in their court. The half isn't lost just yet. The spam's dangerous, but just about missing the players on site. And the retake for G2, not going to be easy. They still have a lot of utility. The one smoke coming in from Brim. The Molly as well to follow up and clear out an angle alongside the Siege, but they need to hit their shots quick and clean, and the trades work in Nova's favor as they will finally put a fifth on the board, just one behind and a chance to tie it up at the half.
Yeah, Manny at least does manage to trade one out at the end, but ruse and then fade back in towards B. And with that Nightfall online again, both players are going to be connected.
Again, though, we get another set of thorns going through to pop that delay. Nova following up still onto Amy. Mimi in the corner, grabs herself a double. Well, they're right back in the lead. Player advantage, and then another falls. Mimi keeps on delivering. And with 12 seconds left, they've got to go. Someone needs to stick that plant here and now. Shirazi's the one left to cover, but G2 are patient. Mimi doesn't want to overextend, not looking for the ace just yet. It will be a full squad here for the retake. 3 versus 2. All they need to do is trade.
Shirazi, the first one to face. It's a little bit late, but it's Mimi already with 4 and only 1 standing for Nikita. She cares about her own numbers rather than giving the lead of the ace. Nonetheless, it will be G2 coming through with a lead at this half. And
so definitely no criticisms there, and I suppose I owe Drew Spark my apologies, as well as Vanya, of course, who I should never doubt and never will again. My apologies. 7-5 as we get into the second half, and it's already a big mid fight from G2, putting a lot of pressure around this angle, and you can already see Prowler going through means they want that control. Akita's following it up slowly, but Clem, quick to connect the headshot, puts Nova in a 5 versus, well now, 3 into 2. It's Petra and Amy. Double the numbers on the other side, spike down, and no chance by the looks of things.
Amy's like, I got flanked, stay alive. I got flanked, stay alive. Well, unfortunately, nobody's staying alive. It's going to be all down to her. Always very good with these pistols, but the amount of utility on the other side is going to make it difficult. The smokes leaving her in an awkward spot. The one thing she does have is time. 45 seconds. Obviously, there's no good way to go about this round, and the way that Nova are currently grouped up, there's not really an individual fight, although saying that, Icebox did decide to go look, and they're going to now try and swing it together. And well, with synergy like that, what can go wrong? The 6th on the board for Nova, an important victory in the pistol, and a good start to their defense.
This gives them a lot more to work with, and I'm just a massive Outlaw fan in general.
Yeah, the only difference is the gamble of losing guns, because you basically, if 2 people go down, that's a problem. Whereas for G2, it's like, oh no, I lost the Spectre, oh no, I lost the Sheriff. Like, it is, that's the kind of trade-out. Already though, that's not the best of starts. That's a gun into the hands of Petra. In fact, it's a Guardian as well, so high damage potential with what they can do. Also looking to try and get a little bit more aggressive with some of their positioning, whereas the defense are all grouping up together. They do have to be careful.
Retrieving flash.
I mean, the numbers are the real advantage when you've got those classics, right? But you allow Nova to group up and push into you. I understand why they want to get ahead of it. Amy spots a bit of info, falls back, a spam attempt coming in from Petra, and some of these players very low! Amy's already got one with the right click. This is looking so doable for G2. Nova need to buckle down as Petra puts them in the ground! A MasterCard thrifty! And the one thing we didn't want to see, that early injection of rounds, well, it seems unavoidable now. Yeah, G2 coming in as favorites and now having that extra wiggle room. Nice shutdown, though, by Sheer to start this. Petra keeps on going. That Guardian hasn't been taken out of her hands. Maybe it won't. That's a spam from Vanya straight through the mid-smoke that she put down. For Nova, a 4 versus 3 off rip in a round where they full invested, and the B site is the target, which, as we can see, is wide open. And now G2 can see that too.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing they really need to worry about is maybe somebody swinging in from heaven, but it now almost becomes a question of how much you're willing to gamble to get back into this site. Because the problem with losing a lot of players so early in the round is there's a lot of utility still to play with, more Thorns available, the Flash still available, C's still available. Like, this is a lot of potential denial. And also, the defenders are all coming in from one choke. A lot that they need to clear, even wary of Heaven, and understandably so. Shirazi, though, that's a gun barrel. That's a spot. A second as well. Player in the corner, though. They haven't been able to clear. It was actually Vanya to find the first kill. That left Mimi hidden, but Shirazi is fighting strong. Already to look to bring this back, and it's the headshot, but does she have the time? It's close. That will be the question. So close. I think she just about got it. A second and a half left on the clock. The Red Bull clutch, and Shirazi, a hero.
Just how big of a deal this round was to connect. Now a 2-round gap and a chance to make up on this. The barrier's already up as we get into the game, and you can see the G2 are wasting no time with taking control, but Clem, the one to open this up with the judge.
Well, yeah, the worry coming into this round was that you only survive with one player. G2 had a good opportunity to just repurchase immediately. In fact, I think it was even an outlaw in play for Mimi, because she was thinking, okay, there's going to be light shields. Well, the low buy of the judge has worked wonders. A great start. And again, you kind of look at this play now and go, do you want to try and make it round that corner? Because I don't.
I don't blame you for it.
So here comes the judge.
Push in from the judge. Ooh. Amy will punish a second player. No. Surely not the third. Alyssa finally puts her to bed, but a 3 versus 3. The A site being pressured, but the spike still has to cross. They've got control. But a player sneaking out of that smoke could be a death sentence. And that's why Vanya waited for the smoke that was covering her off to fade. Waited for Akita to get into this corner. Now they've got the control. Now they've got the plant. And Akita in this corner. Oh, it doesn't look like she was expected. And a 3 versus 2 as a reward.
Well, Shirazi's still standing. So I might just have to believe for the moment. He did impeccable work in the last round to give them this chance.
Beacon down.
Problem though is the post plant is not going to be easy to beat, and I'm looking at Akita already wrapping back around as the other two players looking to bait, and well, maybe the bait will be enough. Akita's there to close. G2 right back on the horse, and even though this round started well, the danger is said. It looks like they're going to try and put her into position. Now there is Amy waiting on the other side. In fact, there's a couple of players. She needs to hit this shot and get out immediately, and that's exactly what she does. Very nice.
That was clean as can be. Now Mimi's on the wrap up behind. Already used that dimensional drift and is hunting down a kill, but Clem has found another. Out comes the shorty. But Mimi now poses a threat with the flash through this smoke. Making a big impact, but Paranoia goes in. Rest of the squad delayed. Clem finding a third in the round. Mimi tagged desperately low. It's on to Petra. Look at this corner spot for Mimi. She shouldn't get much, but Petra's there to cover her. A 3 versus 2. Manageable, especially with the spike under their control. It looks like Petra, going down on mid, but this is risky. They're already on the run through. Little bit of tag from Petra. 2 steps at least. Have been heard. What a shot! That puts us back to even, but still the HP advantage sits with Nova. They don't know where Mimi is, and they don't know where Petra's gone. Another swing, and it's a hit! G2 now with the advantage. The time ticking. Petra in the corner, and she has heated up in this map. Nova's flesh serving as the kindling. 12-7.
And well, has pulled around, honestly, out of absolutely nothing. That should have been a Nova victory, but for her individual brilliance. Clem off with a nice start, but that happened in the last round as well, and this time there's an immediate response. Akita wanted to chase.
She was thinking about it. We almost saw that dash up. It could have been a mistake with Sheer seemingly ready for the fight, but here it comes. Flash in, and so is Akita. Shots from Icebox don't land, and she's going to be forced back here. 2 players on site, though. Both angles covered, but big fights coming their way. Sheer has the trigger discipline to at least let the decoy go past, but this is going to be tough. 3 players coming through that angle. No flash to work with. Nightfall does catch just about, and so Sheer ends up being an easy kill for Akita. Just the 1 bullet needed. Molly in play slows them and gets the plant in for G2. With a 3 versus 2, 12-7. There's no better time to put the Nightfall through for Nova. A bit of information going their way, but they need to get towards this spike. Clearing out elbow at least, knowing there's a player close, the reveal goes in, but look how patient G2 are with the orbital strike. They knew that they could run down this clock, and now the pressure truly onto Nova as players fall one after another. Alyssa seemingly stands no chance with G2 locking in their 13th round.
Yeah, it was saw today Mimi and Petra talking about themselves as boomers. I'm not sure that's the case. They are looking like the young blood on the stage in the last couple of rounds, and a mass victory.
We are hardly seeing any neons right now, but you know, yesterday we mentioned it, not having any flashes, it definitely hurts. So I'm glad to see Sky coming back into the mix to at least fill that gap.
On their way towards this A site, and well, Icebox is going to have quite a task to stay alive as the flood comes in. Heaven Control going to be covered off by Amy as they wrap up themselves around. Nice flash, but Akita is the one to draw that opening duel in G2's favor. And they've got all their bases covered towards main. 2 players sitting and waiting there. The question is, I think for G2 at this point, with how spread they are, they almost want to take a fight, but then you have that double up down below in the drop. This is a nasty little spot, especially considering the super late play from Vanya. She should be able to do a ton if there's anyone left to be picked up.
It didn't matter from this point onwards. Alyssa completely surrounded, and G2 are going to get themselves off to a strong start in the pistol.
Anything goes wrong, it's not my fault. Let's pin it on her. 1-0 start for G2, and it's the defensive side coming in with classics. But they're grouped up ready for this fight, and that's a double opening. Clem with 2 of her own. G2 having to battle tooth and nail to even keep this even. That's a great start already in terms of damage and the potential for this to be so much more.
If they wrap back through after the plant, they might be able to retrieve some weaponry, and that's exactly what Nova are planning to do. They've realized, okay, they've probably either fallen back or pushed into the site, so that's a couple of guns for us to try and play with.
Spike planted.
Especially that Guardian, we've already seen it in the last map, what G2 were able to do with that, forcing them into the open, but that forces Vanya and Amy into the fight. And well, luckily for G2, they were able to recover that. It was dangerous, and it was costly.
You can respect it for sure, especially with the game that Mimi played in the previous. She was a devil even when it came to the classic play. For Nova, giving up control over Vents, this fight up in heaven, risky for Sheer. At least a 1-to-1 trade to start this off, but the damage onto Mimi makes this even a little bit more favorable perhaps for the defensive side, if they can get a favorable fight. It's the late play from Vanya that worries me. You think about the impact she had even in that pistol round. You think back to KRÜ as well, a couple of sneaky plays from herself and Akita, and holding on to that mid control as the wrap goes back towards A. I was thinking maybe they were going to meet up with her and go towards B Heaven, but instead they are happy to just leave her embedded in mid for presumably the entire round, and a light play up into Heaven from her to try to backstab.
This is where Clem should, in theory, be able to maybe farm up, but that's already the first shot going astray. Support has been rotating in from her teammate, though, and that's the main thing. They at least have an opportunity onto this cross. Shirazi clean with it. Amy will be there for the trade. That Guardian juggled into her hands, and well, Vanya, her patience paid off. The player in the site, though, is going to be traded once again. Amy in with the chance, but incredibly low on HP. Icebox, full health, knows exactly where her opponent is, and again, this round may be costly, but Nova, well, they're going to be happy that they at least got it over the line.
G2 get to catapult themselves further into the lead.
Also, a lot of the time with this explosive a comp, you are going to expect plants to be coming in. Early space taken, and Clem is gone immediately. It felt like less than a second had gone in this round, and she's going to bite the bullet.
Having control can be fought for, but you just look at Icebox. Isolated on the site, it's going to get Shirazi in a spot where she wants to get that little more aggressive to support her teammate, but she goes down, and so does Icebox. Alyssa doing well, that third player not expected to be this close to A that early, but they're still down by 1. An ult for Mimi, a Viper's Pit as well. I mean, really take your pick of what you want to commit to that one, and even the stun. By the time those players get close, the stun has faded. And G2 grouping up. I mean, they are fish in a barrel if the spray came down, but instead it's Mimi with a very early wraparound inside the pit, and a third kill in the round. She really has been having a series, in fact. With the Gravwell to buy even more time, we knew how this story was going to end. G2, 3-1. And for Nova,
and it's almost the turning point, because I feel like it goes much further, and this is terrifying. You get a round win here, and it's not.
Upshot is everything, but it's already going to be spotted, pushed back now. The stun goes into play, but Mimi sees the second player. Cosmic Divide now. Mimi's going to find that little bit of a gap in spawn. It's beautiful! Mimi taking down Alyssa, but the AWP of Clem still sitting around this site. She is searching, trying to find absolutely anyone, but Mimi's already faded out, gone back to the rest of the squad, as Sheer is able to slip past on the backside. Nova with the lifeline! Sheer dominance on the B site as they find their second, a much-needed round.
Fully invested, although saying that, Amy has enough to drop a rifle, and maybe one player would have been low. They've gone in with a couple of classics here.
Oh, this is risky, though, running through the pit. Already one player has snuck past. Alyssa didn't seem aware, and now the showstopper! Right on Shirazi's feet. Down goes the pit. And Nova, well, they are spiraling here. Rifles picked up for the remaining players in G2. 5 versus 3. And look at the position of Amy. With the plant coming in on B, if you expect this, you're a giga brain like I've never seen. But that flank has a timer on it, and it's going to take a while to come into play. The smoke that's gone up in heaven, though, might just buy them that time.
And the flank. Wow, that's going to be something. Clem has managed to take down Mimi. That puts them in a bit of a box, actually, while that flank is still coming. Icebox has done well, but Vanya's still standing strong. And now Amy strikes. She's been waiting for a moment all the way through the round for Clem. This is not the position you want an operator. And well, the MasterCard's thrifty. It was a few guns, but still a few missing. And is the only team other than Shopify that has got their hands on the Game Changers Champions Trophy. Not a bad start, though. Icebox going to win the fight versus Akita. A flash through is going to get rid of EMEA as well. A little bit more aggression, but it's working out for them.
3v5, pressure up on Shirazi, but she gets hers before going down, and Shear's there as well. 3 versus 1. Vanya low. They've done everything they need to convert this round on the side of Nova. Alyssa even tucked in a nasty spot. Will give no chance to G2. 6-3. The scoreline can close in from here. We can still be neck and neck at the half. Find success. Only time will tell.
EMEA under pressure. Clearing her has been an important part, and it came down to the 1 versus 1, but that's the second time that Icebox managed to win it. Shirazi holding on to the vents like her life depends on it. It did. With the remaining 2, it feels like Nova might have just found their momentum. It's left all onto Vanya, and she won't get anything.
A 2-round gap, but more importantly for Nova, a dominant round from them, where they are very delayed in going for this control. But Clem's now spotted their intention. And that Prowler, along with the flash, not going to land on Clem, but the shot won't land on the G2.
Yeah, the challenge for mid has been a large part of either team. Nikita is the one to take first blood. It's all of that Viper utility offline. That is not the player you want to lose in this contention, and while Clem's position is very much known, but the fact is, after taking that pick and the move to almost bolster up middle, it seems like G2 are very aware of the gap.
There's the drone down for the info, but they've already heard it. It's all about that op shot from Clem. The top rope landing its blow. Late play by Amy through middle hasn't been spotted yet, and often you'll expect that Viper to be with the squad. In fact, the flank is completely avoided now. They must have seen her because they even flashed back out into mid. But yes, this is why the pit coming back into play to try to lock this down in the post plant nade. Right-clicked up top. Oh. It's beautiful from Akita. And with the pit to get towards the site, just about covering the spike. This is a very difficult retake for Nova. The slide good, but Mimi better. And it's down to the 1v1. Already low is Icebox, and that decay is going to take this from bad to worse. A spam from Amy would be enough, and the snake bite certainly will do the trick. 7 on the board for G2, a lead at the half already guaranteed.
Just her timing, her spacing, her decision-making has been sublime. A 7th round, and while a showstopper with 2 targets and 2 targets taken. It's an assist from Mimi, even if it doesn't come up on the board, but for Akita, that's about as easy as it gets.
Yeah, really snuffing out their flame here, Nova. They came in shining bright, certainly in that first half of Corrode, but it seems like G2, they found their rhythm. As every note falls into place, Akita's 3rd. And Mimi looking for one on the backside, but it will be Petra to get yet another, hitting that final note as G2 end this half 8-4 in the lead. This is the spot where the pistol carries a lot of weight. G2 with a chance to run away with this. That nade already posing a lot of danger, and Akita keeps on going. Shirazi, the one to fall, but Akita down to 10 HP. Stuck in that corner, dodges the flash. It's almost a freebie, but Icebox puts us back to level.
A nice attempt. Already though. Multiple players left within the site. Now you can see that Mimi's actually going back to mid, just in case they try and double back in the other direction. Looking to try and lock them in with nowhere to go, but they are pressuring into what is now a stack up of the remaining players, a crossfire that seems impossible to deal with. It's left to Sheer to try and save the day, and now even from above, Mimi will look to wrap him from behind. There is nowhere safe, nowhere left to go. G2 claim
the fact that there's plenty of close range duels that you can take here as well. It really feels like an all-rounder on split.
And again, it seems like they've got the right read. Multiple players already here. Early utilities, not a bad start though. Clem's done well. That's a player drop. Clem with the classic. seems to do so much damage all of the time, and now Shirazi's adding another. This is starting to get very interesting indeed. A chance to give themselves a lifeline, and Clem is looking to do it all. It's left to Petro, who doesn't know there's another on the cross, and hey, that's one way to find a response. A MasterCard Thrifty, and Nova, well, they're not dead just yet.
I won't dare to suggest what the scoreline should be coming out of this round, just in case, but Nova's certainly looking favored.
That's the good thing. The 3 players buy up. The other 2 have the Spectres, and as you said, versus, well, normally versus a low buy, it's very good, as you are witnessing. Shirazi under pressure, but, well, they're running through the snake bite. Oh, taste of her own medicine, maybe? Can Vanya deliver? No, she cannot. That's fantastic. A flawless back. A huge boost in terms of orbs as well for Shirazi, which, hey, you're going to want a Viper's Pit as early as possible. There is no luck. There is nobody left on the other side of the map. This is an all-in gamble play from the side of Nova. But they've got to make it out of this choke first.
Petra's been spotted on the backside. Akita good for just one, but Mimi and Petra, they're delivering and stopping Nova in their tracks. A 7th round not likely to find its way into their hands. We talked about Shirazi, 46 HP now, and still 2 orbs away from that Viper's Pit. I don't think she's looking to plant here in the spawn.
Definitely understandable. For G2, though, an immediate response. Once they get the buy back in, 4 players alive will be a build-up of economy for them as well. And with Petra finding a fair few, that's going to be her now 2 away. Variety is the spice of life.
Yes.
But sometimes you don't like the spice.
Maybe too spicy. G2, oh, snake bite down. This is a safe corner though for Shirazi. It hasn't quite extended as much as they'd hoped, and Mimi, getting a bit curious, ends up being dropped by Clem. Now the Seekers go out. Situational, but this is the perfect situation as they clear this A site completely. And the spike can move towards it. Late play coming through mid from Alyssa, but she's now being caught. That's a pick back in the other direction, and G2 don't need to get ahead of themselves in looking for a fight, but Nova want to. They're looking into the spawn off the Sky Flash, but it's fairly easily dodged. That went all the way around the corner. Paranoia doesn't land on Amy, but the rest are blinded up. Vanya stuck in the corner, and Shirazi's 3rd lands. Akita up close, won't find the double. And another big round from Shirazi keeps Nova's beating heart alive.
G2, on the other hand, did not. They are down to Sheriffs.
They've made it work before. The classic up close. I got so worried.
Oh, it's close. 46 health.
The right click not as kind as it has been in the past. Drone coming through from Alyssa towards B-Main has spotted players, but Akita somehow gets one and gets out. At B-Main aggression as well, having been spotted, but Mimi has TP'd back, now looking for the fight up into heaven as Vanya goes down. Yeah, it's going to be tough to find more here. Akita on the cross. Good damage! Spike dropped up in heaven. Mimi might not be expected quite this quickly, and now Mimi's going to have some help as the showstopper soon to be popped, I'd imagine. This is the round for it. This happened before. Shirazi in the pit and will be caught yet again by the showstopper. But it's left onto Petra. 1 versus 2. It seems like Nova may have stumbled, but they will not fall. Not just yet, unless Petra's got a big play up her sleeve. Already isolating one. The reveal is there. The reload needed. And now her opponent rounds the corner to destined death. Petra puts them in their place with an 11th round for G2.
There was never any fear in Petra's heart for that one. Akita about to be pressured, but yeah, you just can't. You can't make it through that orb while someone is spamming. And you didn't even get close to it, in fact.
That's tough.
Look on the map where that was. That was just on the corner. That was just a little pre-fire.
Clearly Amy knows her angles, but who's surprised by that?
Yeah, no way.
And now Nova losing out on their omen. They have that Viper wall already placed down. Akita does well to find one. It's the numbers kept in favor for G2.
They've got 30 seconds, and it doesn't seem like this is getting any easier.
Oh, grab well. That's slowed down the rest of the squad, and it's only a 3 HP Clem who's made it out to the site. Amy shutting her down, saving Vanya's life as the smoke goes up, and now how do you get out? You just gotta walk through this with Amy and Vanya holding you as if you had a chance. G2, 12 on the board, just like KRÜ.
The buy, it stinks. I think the only thing really there is going to be that overdrive, a chance to try and close the gap, but Akita is ready and waiting. Clem gone.
Yeah, Clem wanted to put the pressure onto Petra there. She was stuck in the corner and still will be. Dodges that flash again. Great wall that they have in play here. Got to give credit to Amy. We've seen that already have impact in previous rounds. And here maybe more so than ever.
Go ahead.
Still have that Omen to play with, but no smoke down, and Mimi has a field day with that, covering the cross back as well. Alyssa pre-fires it and forces her off the angle. The paranoia sends her further back, and Sheer is walking down on the back of it. Even suspects that that's the decoy as Alyssa finds one. Sheer could have a beautiful flank, but doesn't want to risk it, and I like it. I think the discipline here is far more valuable than rolling the dice on that flank and being isolated. The 2 versus 2, but it's Amy and Vanya that you're up against.
Yeah, the From the Shadows could be used as a recon. Her staying alive, fairly integral. G2 with a chance to end the map. Alyssa, a chance to get an ace. She's stuck in the backside, but still swings out. One more needed to individually win the round for her team, but that's where her teammate will come in. A 4K for Alyssa to keep them in the map, maybe the most important one they've had so far.
In a very narrow choke point, I mean, she kind of needs to push forward to hold that control, but Clem is already past the pit, so standing in that tight corner, really the only option she's left with. Prowler up top has caught Clem, though.
Yeah, that's important information, and in fact, it seems like we're going to get a push on 2 fronts. One of them is in the form of Akita, and then Amy's also managed to find Clem. This might be the beginning of the end, as they've had to try and fall back in a chance to try and reclaim mid, maybe catch the aggressive player in the form of Akita, but she's gone. She's dipped. She's in fact wrapping all the way back round just to fight with Mimi, and Mimi's gone, okay, well, let's just fall back and fight this one together. We have that advantage already.
Oh, Mimi! The double kill! And maybe the death blow delivered just like that. It will be a triple from Mimi to close this out in flawless fashion. G2 have given Nova courtesy enough, and they take it 2-0. An impressive series from Nova. A lot of promise here, but it just wasn't enough.